Afternoon. Just wait for a mic to come, please. And first question.
Roy, just start off with some really positive news. What's it been like to welcome the two Dundalk boys into the squad today?
No, it's been nice. It came in yesterday. They obviously didn't train today because they're doing a bit of recovery from their game. But it's nice to have them on board. Nice to have a chat with them. Seem obviously decent lads. No doubt getting over the disappointment of the weekend, but that's the nature of the game. They've done brilliant, and I think I said the other day they're in the squad on merit. Did really well the last couple of years, particularly in the European games, and it'd be nice to get a proper look at them tomorrow when they can join in properly.
You have had a few withdrawals. Just wanted to pick up on one, James McCarthy, because it does seem to have come after pressure from his club manager. Is that a decision, not that you're happy with, but that you accept?
I were disappointed that James is not here, but we knew he was struggling with the injury he had. He's obviously missed the last 1 or 2 games, missed some training, and he wasn't fit to report. So we're disappointed, just like Wardy and some of the other lads. And listen, we know players are under pressure from the clubs. Obviously, the clubs are looking after themselves. So we're disappointed James couldn't make it, but we'll survive.
Is there an issue generally, and I don't mean this with James specifically, but it's something that Jose Mourinho raised at the weekend, but the players have to be prepared to play through the pain?
Yeah, of course. I think that goes without saying. I think most players will be carrying knocks of some sort, but having said that, when a player's injured, he's injured. You know, I don't. As long as I've been involved with Ireland the last few years, when I came in with the manager, I think we've been more than fair to the clubs and the players, and we're lucky we've got a decent group of players and the medical staff. I don't think we've never took any unnecessary risk with players, and we've had a number of players miss international matches because we've not risked them, and they've played a couple of days later for their clubs. But obviously, from the club's point of view, they're always worried when the players go away playing international football. That's, like I've said, clubs are going to look after number one. But when players report for us with Ireland, I think we've been more than fair with the players and the clubs. We've, many a time, as I said, we've let players go back to their clubs and they've missed qualifying matches, and were involved in their clubs a few days later. And sometimes you have to take that as well, because sometimes 2 or 3 days does make a difference to a player. And that's why when we call players up, sometimes it might be the Monday or the Tuesday, we have 2 or 3 days to play with before international matches. And as much as the clubs are saying they don't feel the players right, when they come over and we bounce it off them, and sometimes the players will have had that extra 2 or 3 days now training, I feel better. And I think, again, we've never took any risk with players. I think the manager here has been more than fair to club managers, absolutely.
So given that, does it disappoint you when you hear Ronald Koeman saying things like, basically James McCarthy's picked up another injury because he's been overloaded on Ireland?
Well, yes and no. As I said, clubs are going to be selfish. They're going to look after their own players. I think we're lucky with the Everton lads when we've had a problem previously with Martinez. I think he was slightly over the top every time we felt the Everton players were turning up, and it's not criticism of the players. This is more from the Everton and their staff, that they were always carrying knocks, and I always felt the Everton players were going to turn up on crutches or crawling into the hotel door. I know it looks like we're probably going to have that issue again with Koeman. Hope not. Maybe Everton, I think, is a football club. I'm not sure when the last time they won a trophy. I think it was a good number of years ago. Maybe this overloading players and players playing lots of games is a good thing. That means your club's been successful and lads are playing week in, week out, playing midweek games. But Everton, they don't play any European football. I think they're out of the League Cup. I think Norwich beat them at Goodison. So maybe Everton as a club need to, and it's a brilliant football club, maybe their players need to toughen up a little bit.
Is it important that relationship though between Everton and Ireland is a good one because you've got a couple of big players?
No, not really, no. Why? Why do we need a good relationship with Everton?
I just presumed you...
No, listen, they're lucky to have the Irish lads they've got there. And Everton traditionally have always had brilliant Irish players doing well for the football club. So they shouldn't be so quick to stop Irish players coming to play for Ireland. I've experienced that myself. And as I said, I can understand it a little bit, but if a player is fit to travel and feels he can play the game, particularly in a qualifying game, I think there's always a bit more understanding when there's friendlies going on, then they should get their heads around that. Because, for example, Seamus and James, particularly if you look at James Koeman, what a player he's been for Everton. So why would they try and begrudge Ireland having these players available to us? Darren Gibson's Irish. Gibbo misses lots of games for Everton, a hell of a lot of games, and he seems to get injured a lot at Everton. So maybe they need to look at their own, I suppose, training schedule. So Koeman's opinions, honestly, there's no issues with me. I couldn't care less, to be honest with you.
Well,
Roy, did James himself decide that he wasn't fit for this game, or did the medical
I
department?
think he's obviously spoke with the medical staff and he spoke with the manager the last few days. I think the manager will give you more of a heads up when he speaks to you tomorrow, but he has obviously spoke with the manager. And it's hard for the players. And listen, it's not just about James McCarthy here. When there's players carrying knocks, then the clubs will be reluctant for them to travel. I get that as well. I've been a club manager. But if a player thinks he can be fit for the international match, then sometimes you have to obviously listen to the player. But we've said it before, but if a player's injured, like James is, and Wardy and these boys, Christie, when you're injured, you're injured. But if you turn up and you think you've got a chance, then fair enough. So, again, let's not just turn this about James McCarthy, because James has been under pressure a number of times when he's reported, when he's carried knocks or he's been struggling. And he's turned up and he's gone out and done the business. Other times he's turned up and he's not been fit and he's gone back. That happens. And he's gone back and played a couple of days later for his Everton. So I'll go back to the point here with the medical staff here with Ireland. I don't think we could be any fairer to clubs, and I mean that. The medical staff here are always looking out for what's right for the player. As much as sometimes we think, well, listen, can we push him? And if anything, they go the other way. And rightly so, because obviously they're medical people, they've got to look after the players' welfare. Where again, from a selfish point of view, we'd be saying, listen, is he fit or whatever? So it's not about James McCarthy. It's just, and it goes on with every country and club. Clubs will be. I've experienced that myself as a player. Managers will be reluctant for lads to go away if they're carrying knocks. That's the nature of the game we're in. So it's nothing new, and it'll continue to happen.
And how are the rest of the squad in terms of knocks? John O'Shea's joining up there.
Shays is coming in, I think, tonight. He's obviously making good progress. Okay, and obviously set out training today. I think he's feeling his groin a little bit. James McLean just feeling his back a little bit. He sat out today. Who else is there? Obviously, you know about Wardy and Cyrus. Is that it? I'm not sure. Is there anyone else missing? I think that's the latest, yeah.
okay. Next question.
Roy, looking ahead to the game, the year that the Irish team have had and the start they've had to the campaign has been a really positive year. Is it vital to finish the year on a high, especially with such a gap to the next game, to almost an end of season feel to it? Not necessarily. I don't mean like to win the game. I mean just to try and get there and get.
We want to keep the momentum going. We've said all along it's going to be tight with the groups, with Wales, Serbia, Austria, ourselves, and Georgia picking up one or two results. Yeah, well, of course. There's not a game for a number of months, but whatever this end of the year, we just want to keep picking up points to try and qualify. We know it won't be easy. Obviously, we're on about injuries at Long and Murphy. They're big losses to us. But when we do get together, we find a bit of spirit and a bit of energy, and the players, generally speaking, keep going. So we need to be. I keep saying it. We need to be at our best to try and get a result. It's a tough game. They're a good team. They've got good players playing at a very good level. Be a tough game, but be a tough game for them as well.
Roy, how big of a blow is losing Stephen Ward for this game? We've seen recently he's been very solid for both club and country, and he's kind of really come along. And does that force yourself and Martin to rethink that position? And I suppose it's a bonus as well, though, having Robbie Brady back to scoring form.
But every time we turn up for the obviously international matches, this player's missing. And as you said, Wardy, I think it's unfair to say Wardy's been solid. I think he's been more than solid. I think he's been excellent for his club and for Ireland. And he is a loss to us just as much as Murph and the other lads, and the loss of Robbie Keane the last few. That's the game we're in. fortunate enough, we've got one or two senior players back involved, the goalkeepers back involved, that helps. But yeah, Wardy's a loss to us, but we've got other options there. The obvious one being Robbie Brady, who has played there for us and done well. But we're always disappointed to lose players. But as the week goes on, you just get on with it, and you walk around. The strange thing is we end up talking a lot, even through the media, about the players who aren't here. We have to talk about and work on the players who are here and available and fit for Saturday. We've got, I suppose, the extra 1 or 2 days to get ready, whereas the last time some of our lads played on the Sunday and we were into a game on the Thursday night. So we've got the extra kind of 48 hours to play with. Lads who are carrying out, James, O'Kane, hopefully they'll settle down and we can get certainly a good couple of days training under our belt. Not that we can do loads of work, but at least we'll have lads out on the training pitch. But Wardy is a loss. I know he'd be frustrated because he doesn't like to miss any games. But he's got an injury, and again, going back to the conversation we had earlier, can't do anything about it. He's injured and we just get on with it.
Roy, there's an ongoing debate over in Britain about England, Scotland wearing poppy shirts, and Ireland have been caught up in that with the 1916 shirt. Just wondered what your view was on all that.
Well, I think as far as I can comment on it, I think there's because is there a charge or something? I can't comment until the charge is sorted out. But listen, as coaching staff and players, we focusing on the game and again let the FAI deal with that. Is that right?
That's right, Roy. We'll just say there is a charge, which was brought last Friday, as you know, a disciplinary matter. We have until November the 17th to respond, and until after that point, we won't be making any comment on it as we absorb this charge. Thank you.
Roy, just with James out, and possibly Robbie Brady having to move with Stephen Ward out, Harry Arter, based on his current form, I'm sure yourself and Martin would have no problems throwing him in maybe to start on this weekend. No,
well, obviously Harry's had a frustrating time not from a club point of view. He's playing really well from international level. He's missed a few games with injuries. We're glad he's over. He's fit. He seems to be in good run of form. He's playing week in, week out in the Premiership. So he certainly would be an option for us, and I think he'll be chomping at the bit to get involved. So yeah, it gives us a good option, absolutely. And we know if he starts on Saturday, he certainly has the quality to deal with the game because he's playing week in, week out in the Premiership. There wouldn't be a problem to it, and we'll see how that goes the next few days. But I'm sure he's thinking he's got a great chance of starting. But we've got some other good players as well, to be fair.
And just, do you think this could be a really pivotal game in the group as well, when you take into consideration if you get a positive result, a draw or a victory, it could also take out one of your opponents as well as gaining points?
No, I'm not sure about that, but honestly, going back to first got involved in football, I look at every game as important. I really do, and this is up there with them. But we said that about the last couple of games. We'll be saying it when we report back into the new year. Every game's important, and this will be a good, tough game for us. Like I said earlier, they've got some really good players. Away from home is always difficult, international football. But our lads keep doing well. They keep producing results, and we need that to continue over the weekend. But again, we're looking forward to it. Should be a really good game and a tough game for both teams.
Okay, last question, please.
Roy, you mentioned this group has been open very much from the start, but were you anyway surprised in the last round of results with Austria and Wales both dropping points?
No.
No, just with Georgia getting a draw, and I suppose Serbia beating Austria.
Well, obviously, I'm sick to my back teeth of telling you that Georgia are a decent team. And they've improved from the last campaign, which we found very difficult. They've had results before in the last campaign, beating Scotland. So when looking at the chances, they probably had the chances against Wales. Obviously, Austria have had some tough games so far in the group. So no, not one bit surprised. I think the group is that tight. We're all going to drop points.